Are back with another Live at 5. Today we are going to be focusing on prep. So I'm going to be removing some nails and then doing prep. I'm going to show you guys our diamond bits and how I like to use them for prepping the nails and skin for an enhancement or manicure or removal. So I'm going to do the removal, the prep, and then from that point on, if we have time to do a soft gel tip or just go into a manicure or whatnot, then I will show you all of that as well. But today, again, we are focusing on prep. So let me log in so I can see who's all on the line with us. I like to be on as well if I can. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. I see there's 7 of you. Thank you guys all for joining in. I appreciate it. So I'm going to get started because we do have a little bit to do. I'm going to have, Val, give me her hand here. We have 2 nails that I'm going to be removing, and I'm going to be using the Typhoon or the Typhoon Radius. I'll show you both because with the Typhoon, since it has the angled, I'll show you how to go like around to do removals, and then the Typhoon bit has more of a straight angle, but it's tapered. So you get more contact with this one, and I'll show you the differences on each of the nails. Okay, but these are both in coarse because when I do removals and things like that, I like to use the coarse bit. So it has the blue color marker there on it. You can also use medium. If you have a lot of bulk, like 3D designs, you can go for the red, which is the extra coarse. Okay, and these are the diamond bits. I will show you guys these after. So firstly, I'll show you the Typhoon bit. So this is how it comes in our packaging. And it tells you here, Silver Typhoon course. And I will just jump in. I have my Mani Pro passport, and I do leave a little bit of the shank exposed so you guys can see there. I don't like to have it all the way into the collet because it can cause a lot of friction. So, just to ease some of that, I do leave a little bit of that shank out, and that will help with friction and vibration, stuff like that. So always trying to make sure we're preserving the tools and just making sure we get the best longevity out of our items. So with this Typhoon bit, it's best for going around. I'll show you why. So when you go to remove the product, you can see that it doesn't get that much contact, even if I use the belly of it here. But to go around, because it has the more narrow tip, I can go around the cuticle fairly easy, right? So that goes to show it can fit into the tight little areas. But when it comes to all over removal, you're not going to get that much contact. Why? Because it is more narrow at the tip, and I'll turn it off. And if you notice, it curves all the way around. So you're only going to get that much contact on a flat surface. Now, and then before I switch, I'm going to just dust it off so that way no dust gets into the handpiece. Okay. I will now go with my Typhoon Radius, and tells you here, we go Silver Typhoon Radius. It'll say it on the back. And for this is the comparison here. You'll see that because it's flatter, we get more contact, right? So you see how much faster we can remove the polish. I got all of that off in a few swipes versus how much I had to do there. You can still get around the edge with this, right? But it's not as narrow as the typhoon bit. So you just have to be a little more careful. But it is a safety bit. So it does have a rounded tip. So you don't need to feel too scared about using it. But you can see there's different uses for each of those bits. So even though, um, they have the same coarseness, you see the radius, just like in the name, you're going to have more contact. See, just to show you, you're going to get much more contact because it's flat. Okay, so much easier for removal. So I will take the actual free edge off of the enhancements. I have my nail cutter here, and I'm just going to remove that so that it's easier to file off. And I'm just going to show you the file off method. We can soak off, but it may take too long, and I want to really get into the prep with you more than anything. So I'm going to just remove this pretty quickly here, just to give you guys, a quick demonstration of how easy it is to remove enhancements with our Manu Passport and your bits. I always cut the nail just because you don't want to be filing the whole nail off when you could just focus on the nail bed portion. So just cut the nail, like it's just, it's just easier. I feel like that's common sense, so most people already do that. But for anybody who's a beginner and who may not know, that's just the best way. Remove the free edge or the nail tip, and then you can get into the removal a little quicker. Okay. So with your removal, you don't want to go down into the nail bed. So you want to have an eye on where the product still is. If you can see, there's still gel. You'll be able to see it with the naked eye. It's not, I don't know that it's going to catch it on camera, but you should be able to tell when you're getting down into the nail. Okay? You don't want to get down into the nail bed with this sort of a bit on your client. So just try to eye and make sure that you're still filing off just gel only. And you'll be able to see the difference. Once the gel is removed in one area, you'll start to see the nail bed exposed. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a close-up, but if not, it might be too hard. But there's some areas where it's like the nail's already exposed. Maybe it's on the side. Yeah, you can see like, okay, over here, a little over here is already exposed. So I'm not going to keep going over those areas, right? Here you still see there's some lifting. We're going to remove that. Just a light hand, not too much pressure. And where it's lifted at, that's already chipping off. So that's the natural nail. I don't want to go over there too much. And there we go. So there may still be some gel, but you can remove that with the sanding band. So there's still some a little bit gel in the middle and stuff like that. But the sanding band will get that up. You don't want to go into the nail bed. I can't stress that enough. You don't want to go into the nail bed of the client. So I just like to start towards the center sometimes, and then I'll go around the cuticle area. So I start towards the center and bring the e-file down. Just like that. And you can see it removes the rest of the nail, the enhancement. Okay. And she still has gel on. So I'm not too concerned with getting into the nail bed, but I see the free edge area is already low. So I'm just going to focus on up top. Light hand. Right hand. And then just trying to eyeball, make sure we're not on any nail bed. And you'll be able to, again, see it with the naked eye. The more you do this sort of a technique to remove, the better you'll get at it. It is faster. If you're delicate, it can be an efficient and safe way to remove the enhancements. But again, you do have to just be very gentle. And again, I don't mind if there's still a little gel on. So, because we can always remove that with the sanding band. So there's still some gel up top, but again, I don't mind if we just remove that with the sanding band. Okay, so if you have like a thin layer of gel and you just want to soak off from this point, like if you want to take it all the way down but you're scared to go any further, that's fine, great. You can soak off from here and it should take even less time, because sometimes a soak off can be anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes depending on what the clients used before. If you don't know the product that they've used before, it could be a little harder because they could be using a hard gel that's not really a soak off, and you may have to file the rest off. But from this point, you can soak off and it should take 10 minutes because it's so thin. Other than that, you can probably get right into a sanding band and then go to the enhancement. So just, another option for you. Ooh, let's get all this dust out of here. All right, so try to brush off all this dust so we can still have a clear view. So you can see the nails are free of the enhancement, but they still have, some thin layer of gel on there and some little scragglers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that you can remove it here with our prep enhancement bit. So we have diamond enhancement, and this one is the one with the flat top, and I'll show you the one that we have with the rounded top as well. These ones are kind of similar. You can use them for manicures. They're diamond bits, so this is the diamond. It's a 2-in-1 because it has the rounded edge. So the 2-in-1 has the rounded edge. The regular prep enhancement bit has a flat edge. And these ones are really good for prepping your manicure. Again, it's a diamond bit, so you can use them on the natural nail. They're very, very fine, just as gentle as like a buffer or anything like that. You can use them to clean up the cuticle area, like the 2-in-1 specifically. And then on this one, you can get into the cuticle area I'm going to show you right now. So let's remove our, and I'm just brushing this off, you'll see, to get any dust off of the handpiece. You don't want that dust to get inside of the shaft, okay? So I have my enhancement bit here, and you don't have to put it too high. You don't have to put it too high at all. And you can get into the cuticle area here with this flat edge. I'm trying to keep it flat as I can, using mostly the belly of it and just kind of going around. So you see, it kind of helps push back the cuticle. You see already that's a cleaner cuticle than what we have here, which is just the removal. Already kind of shapes that. And then you can go over the nail, light pressure, and just remove any excess. I would use a sanding band probably for this part too to prep, but this still does the trick. See how it's like removing the shine? There we go. It's removing the shine. There we go. And we are good to go on that one. Okay. Now I will show you On the 2-in-1, oops, forgot to dust that. Let me dust it down. Okay. On the 2-in-1, I'll show you guys how I kind of go around. And on this one, and again, not too high, I have it still very much on this side. You'll see there's the click, and when I go to turn it on, okay, you see the marker there? When I go to turn it on, I just barely have it on. The dial is, where is it? Over here. Okay, we don't want it up here or anything like that. We just want to stay like down in this area. All right. So for this, you can come around the cuticle and you can see like these little hangnails there. Kind of just brush them off. If your client has like a little callus on the sides, you can kind of hit it with the diamond bits, very gentle. Just like that. And then you can go over and prep. You see there's still some gel. I just want to try to remove any of that gel without hurting the nail bed. There you go. Just like that. And I really like the prep bits because you can get all of that dead skin off at the same time. There we go. So just going around. Just like that. And come on here. Try to remove all this dead skin. Okay. From this point, you can take your nipper, all the skin that you just kind of exfoliated off, you can just clip the excess. So if they have any hangnails, any dry skin, you can remove. So you just want to make sure you have a nice, like a small jowl, 1/4 inch or something like that. And try to remove any of these little hanging skin. Trying to be gentle here. I don't want to cut the client. So just gently going around here, cutting off any hanging skin. So if it's hanging off, it's already, dead, detached. You just want to go right where it's hanging off from. You can use a flat side and then just kind of like nip it off. You don't want to cut past that. And you don't want to pull too much. So if you can get the nipper to just cut it while it's back, then that would be best. And then you can go back in with your prep bit and just kind of smooth it down. And that helps like seal some of the skin. Buff it smooth. It's been pretty dry. We had some cold and now we're experiencing like a hot day. It was like 75, but it's still kind of dry weather. So see how it just removes that skin. That's why I like the one with the rounded top, because it kind of just clears off all that skin. Just like that. And again, you don't want to do too much on the living skin. I mostly only hit right here because all of this was like dead skin and it's hard. So you can see where there's some like dead skin. She had, you know, just some peeling and cracking. So when you put your cuticle oil at the end, that's going to seal all that up. But if you can get the, you know, the loose skin off, just like that, you see how gentle it is? It doesn't cut or anything like that. So you see now how smooth that is? Kind of like when you're going over your heel with a callus or anything like that. I wouldn't do too much of that here on this part though, because this skin is obviously going to be thinner than like the tips of the fingertips. So we have somebody who's always kind of washing their hands and washing dishes and stuff like that. So like nurses who want to get manicures and things like that, bartenders, servers, anybody who's kind of always in water, they're probably going to have some hardness here, some callus braiders, stuff like that. You know, even people with writer's bumps. I have a really bad writer's bump here, and sometimes I'll hit it on myself just to smooth it out, like any of the dry, dead skin, and then I'll put cuticle oil on top. But I love this bit for that. So there's that. And that didn't take too long, actually. Okay. So you're just going to take your file, shaper buffer, and just smooth the edges down. That's all. Just like that. Just remove any of the jagged edge. And what I like to do is I'll use the shaper side just to seal, so that way it doesn't fray. If they're done with their enhancement and they just want a removal, this helps, you know, just keep that free edge sealed. That way when they grow out their natural nail, it doesn't chip as easily or break. So just gonna do the same thing over on this side. We still have a little enhancement, but when I file it's all gonna pop off. So see, it's just gonna file right off the enhancement. There we go. See how it just came off? Okay. And hit it with the shaper. Just like that. Just to make sure that it's smooth. So obviously this one is the 100, then we have like a 180 buffer. So with the 100, that means it's coarser, right? So if you go down, start from the higher coarse and go down, down, down. We also have a shine, a smooth and shine file that has the pink and the blue. And you can, if you're just doing a manicure, you can use that other file that we have to seal the whole nail bed, and then you can be done at that point too if you're doing a dry manicure. But for now we're gonna go back into another enhancement. So I'm just gonna use the shaper buffer for that. But yeah, so from this point you're done on the prep. As far as removal, right? As far as removal goes. So you see how healthy the nails look? They don't have any, you know, ripping or tearing, and they're not thin. When you go to soak off sometimes, soaking off is a healthier option, don't get me wrong, it is. But filing off doesn't leave the nails, you know, obviously soaked for that long in the acetone, drying that nail bed out, making it very brittle. You'll notice sometimes your clients will say, oh, but even the soak off leaves my nails kind of thin, because you're drying the nail out in that acetone the whole time. So sometimes that pushing and all that stuff can take off a layer. I feel like if you can train yourself to file off efficiently and effectively, you can do a removal where there's no feeling of softness or brittleness or thinness to the client's nail. And that's what they're going for. Like I said, even if you have just like a really, really thin layer of gel and you just want to soak off, that will cut your soak off time down. And that also helps with not drying your client's skin and nail bed out so much for so long, right? So if you can get, yourself trained to kind of file off like this, and you'll notice that your client's nails will still hold strength. Okay, so moving on, now we can get into, almost dropped that. Now we can get into the prep for the enhancement. Well, you're not snowed in. You're in San Diego. I just looked over finally. And I'm like, all the West Coasters had a nice little week. It's been 75 here. It's pretty hot. But on the East Coast, my sister's in New York, and she said they had like 17 or 18 inches of snow. They couldn't like leave their driveway because the plow hadn't come yet. I can't even imagine. So if you are on the East Coast and you're snowed in, I hope you're watching. I hope you're watching, but I hope you're safe and, you guys are doing well there and they clear up all the streets so you guys can get to and from. But I think there is a travel ban, so maybe it's nice to just be able to stay at home too. Okay, so now I just have my sanding band. And if you're going to do an enhancement, you can just go in and lightly kind of just remove the shine and hit any other areas that you feel like still had gel. This middle part had some gel, so I just went over that a little bit more. And I'm going to just lightly hit this part, and that's it. Because we did all that prep, so removal, and we prepped, so all that is done. So now if you're going into not a manicure, but to the soft gel tip, we can go from here. So you see how clean the nail bed is, how clean the cuticles are. We have no little scragglers, nothing hanging off. Now we can go into the enhancement. So for prep, we have our pH balance nail prep. You guys hear me talk about this a lot. I use this for clients who have like an oily nail bed too. You can use it twice to dry out the nail. This is meant to clean and prep the, I'm trying to see if we can see, because it's a clear bottle. So yeah, there we go. There it is. Yeah, so with this, it is meant to clean the nail plate, remove any debris and pH balance. So that way you can have a really good base to adhere any of your enhancements to. Again, if you have a client with an oily nail bed or a stubborn nail bed where you feel like they're always kind of getting lifting, I'll do this process twice. So you see how it just dried out that nail bed. Any oil or debris that they had on it will be removed. And I do that twice. And if you are going to do an acrylic, you'll want to go into our acid-free nail primer, and in our Peace, Love, Harmony, this is the Love, step 2. And this would be Peace if you have the trio, and it will be in the same bottle as this. But if you have the Enrich or anything like that, it will come in this this bottle shape. But otherwise, it will come like this, Peace and Love, and then you get the Harmony as well for after. This is the cuticle oil for those who are not aware of our product. And If I was doing acrylic, I would do this, but I'm doing soft gel tips. But just so you have that knowledge, this is for acrylic use. I wouldn't use it for gel because you're going to use your base. Okay, so moving right along. Where is my base? Okay, okay, Marco's gonna cry. We checked if we had everything. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get all the bits. I'm gonna make sure I have like all the nail clipper, everything, the nipper, you name it. We're gonna have it this time, and we forgot the base. So I'm sorry. Bear with us. Bear with us. Okay. Oh, here we go. Thank you. All right. So we have our base coat. So I'm going to use this to prime our soft gel tip. So the gel base is what you're going to use for that step instead of any acid primer or anything like that. And just a thin coat. We're going to just do a little thin. I have a lot on the brush. I'm trying to wipe it off. A nice little thin coat. Just like that. Okay, see? And you can see how healthy the nail looks too. It's just, there's no rings of fire or anything like that. And mind you, this is somebody who is getting their nails done every week. You know, we use my girl Val. So she's getting her nails done between me and Gabby all the time. So you can see how healthy her nail is, that she doesn't have any red rings going around. All right, and then we're gonna zap that for 30 seconds. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, the cuticle oil is really, really nice. It smells great. It has like a little tropically scent, like a little Skittle or something. I don't know, like a mango pineapple sort of deal. But I love this smell. And if you can just keep like one even in your purse, every time you wash your hands or something, if you just put a little on and, you know, rub your fingertips together, that helps so much, especially people in the cold weather when it's brittle and cold and freezing and you have a blizzard outside and you can't go anywhere. You rub cuticle oil in your hands always, because it does help with the cracking and stuff like that. Over time, if you're somebody who washes your hands a lot, that can cause pain as you get older. Your skin does become more thin as we age. So just something to consider. You want to make sure you're taking care of your fingertips and your hands, okay? So now, let us, you use the long square?
I used, last time she did the coffin.
Oh, okay. So we're going to do coffin medium?
Yeah, they did long, but we
went
here. Down low.
Oh,
like we took a lot off afterwards because they were too long.
Too long. Okay, well, we'll still do the long coffin so I can show you guys what it looks like. But she has on the long coffin, so I'm just going to do the same nail tip that she has. And then I'll cut it the same. So I'm going to show you guys here. Well, I would have fit them before I put the base coat also. Just, I don't know why I didn't think about that, but I would have to fit it. But I'm kind of a good, I was about to say, I'm kind of a good eyeballer when it comes to the nail tip sizes. So I can kind of guess just by looking at your nail sometimes like what size you will be. Yeah. And I've been working with her for so long now, it's easy. And you guys know how it is when you have your clients that come in all the time, you know they're off the top. You know, okay, this nail looks like their pinky is about a size 8 versus if it's a 10. You know what that kind of looks like. But if you're new, measure before you put the base coat on. so that way you'll have that. Okay, so for my prep on the soft gel, I'm going to just hit the inside of it a little bit with the sanding band. And I always do this just to make sure it sticks to. Just kind of like sanding, a table before you stain it. It gives it more to grip to, the gel. And it's already pre-etched, but I just prefer to do this. I feel like it makes it last even longer. And then I go around the side just very gently to flush the nail tip, just like you would for a well. I know a lot of people who, they kind of taper the well of the nail down so that it blends better with the client's nail bed. Just taking that little lip off so that way it can glide straight down into the nail bed and create a smooth sort of finish. All right. Brushing all that debris off. Whoops. I want to make sure I have the numbers correct too, because since I think I picked them up out of order. The 5 goes for the middle, and then the 6 goes for the index finger. Whoops. Ooh. There we go. Okay. There we go. So now I'm going to take my gel adhesive. Let me make sure there it is, because this is a holographic bottle, so sometimes it's hard to show the words, but this is the gel tip adhesive from the Enrich line. And I'm going to need my handy dandy duet lamp, and I'm just going to bring it close here so you guys can see. I'm going to take this brightness down so that way you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, starting off with the middle finger, I'm going to take my size 5 tip and with the adhesive, wiggle. I want to try to, wiggle. Move this a little bit first so you can see. Wiggle the product into the etching that we just made. Okay, and then just brush it in, and then whatever's left on that brush, just kind of put a little dab toward the cuticle part. Now I'm going to take the nail and at like a 45-degree angle go back into the cuticle area and push forward towards the free edge and lay that nail flat. Hold it there and cure with our duet lamp. Oh, perfect angle. Thank you. All right. And same thing. Let me raise that up. Oops. I'm going to move this before it gets cured. I can just press that and it'll stop it. Etching. Sorry, I keep going off camera. I want to make sure you guys can see. I'm kind of just wiggling in and then brushing backwards. And then with whatever's left on the tip, just kind of putting that little bit right into the well. Oops, snap. Oop. Stuck to my finger there. Okay. And can we do it to the side one more time? Okay. There we go. So you can see I take like at a 45-degree angle and I go back and then press down and get that gel moving forward. And then I'll put the nail under the duet lamp. And it is, by a sensor, it's automatic, which I love. So that way you don't have to touch it. I'm just moving it here because for framing of the camera, we have to be in a certain area. Okay, so if you guys are like, why do they keep, trying to move around, it's because I want to make sure we're right here with the camera. I've shown how we've showed how we have the camera set up before, so you guys have an idea of, all the angles already. So I'm just trying to remember to stay out of the way of those. Okay, now my nail tip cutter, I'm going to measure, and this is just how I measure. I go cuticle to the free edge. Okay, so some people measure like from the free edge part down. I like to measure from cuticle to free edge so they're all kind of the same length, because your nails are, like your fingers are different lengths, right? And I feel like it looks better when the middle is just slightly longer than the ring finger, and the index finger and the pinky is a little, it's a little shorter, because if this pinky is too long, it'll look like, why is your pinky so long versus the other ones? But it's just the illusion of it. So if all of your nails are kind of measured the same from, like, well, these three specifically anyway, if they're all measured from cuticle to free edge similar, or just like a little slightly longer on the middle, I feel like it looks more aesthetically pleasing. That's my personal opinion. You tell me how you do it, but that's just how I do it. I like measure like that, or I measure with my finger, and all of them I go from the base, and then I just kind of like, use that as a starting point for where I want to cut it, and then I'll go back and like, okay, I can take a little bit more off, stuff like that, to try to just give you guys some tips and tricks on how to stay consistent with measuring and things like that. But I just feel like, yeah, measuring like this is nice. See, it's a little easier. I can eyeball it too, but I feel like I want to tell you guys like my thought process on some of the stuff, so you guys can figure out if that works for you, if that's something you want to try, or maybe you want to go from there, or and come up with your own technique for figuring out how you want to measure. And we also have to file, so I'm not too worried about it being too long slightly or whatnot. Okay, because I'm gonna file it a little bit still to make the shape. And we kind of have like a rounded square going, so I'm gonna keep that shape, so that way, because some people don't like it too sharp on the edges. They have kids or pets and stuff like that, and they don't want to scratch them up. They want a rounded square, so we give the client what they want, right? I like to file vertically on the free edge. I feel like the file's already straight. It does the work for you. So why try to do this when the file's already straight? It gives you a better look. It's more precise, more straight. All right. There you go. And now we just buff with the buffer side of our shaper buffer. Just like that. And you can even take it a step further and take your e-file. And if you are very precise on this, you can, let me do the, if you're very precise on this, you can take your, this is the 3-in-1, and just kind of like go around to seal the edges of the, Now for this, I'm not trying to touch the nail bed. Like I'm not digging around in here at all. I'm not trying to create a like an apex look or anything like that. What I'm trying to do is there's still the little lip, even though we filed it to make it a little smoother, sometimes there still can be a little lip. So what I'm doing is I'm only going along the enhancement and I'm just shaving that little lip down to match. And I'm trying to make sure my e-file is flat up against the nail plate. I'm touching the belly of it down there. So that way there's less of a lip. Now it's smoother. I can feel that it's smoother, but I'm not etching the nail bed. Like I'm not creating the seal. I'm just flattening that lip. So only touch the enhancement, only touch the soft gel tip when you do this. Okay? Because again, we don't want red rings. We haven't had them this whole time. So, we want to make sure we keep it that way. Okay. Yeah, I can feel it's completely smooth. There's no lip. So it doesn't dip down and go onto the nail bed. It just smooths right on down with it. You don't want to create a ring of fire or anything like that. And there you go. Now we're going to polish. What polish color did you use? I'm going to try to match it up.
It was from
The rose
Queen and Joshua Tree.
Oh, okay. So we're going to use the Rose, Queen, and Joshua Tree palettes. And I'm just going to, what is it, boho babe?
I think it
for
was
the tip.
This one.
Oh, okay, Beverly Hills Bride. Okay, perfect. So
Is that great?
I think so.
And then, it's missing. It was that one.
Oh. Oops.
That was for the nail designs. You could just do this color.
Okay.
Yeah, not to worry about that.
All right. We're just trying to get the colors right. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So she has Beverly Hills Bride for some of the design. Let me see the side. I just want to match it up. And then, so this one was this one Boho Babe? Or no?
There's a lighter one.
Stunt double?
Yeah, these two, I think.
Oh, okay. And then,
yeah.
Oh, and then movie premiere for
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay, perfect. So from the Rose palette, we have movie premiere. And then from Joshua Tree, we have Beverly Hills Bride and Stunt Double. And I'm just going to get the items. She had a dotting tool and our brush with the flat paddle and the liner. So on this middle finger, it's just looks like the Stunt Double, and then there's some lines and dots. So I just want to recreate what she already had so that she can get on about her day. Nice, smooth, even coat here. Okay, and for this one, and I'm going to use my cleansing solution and my lint-free wipe pad just to clear off this brush in between, if I can close this, in between swipes. So I just use this. Oh, it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay, just kidding. We're going to use Stunt Double again. I was already going into the French, that's why. Okay, so one more time with the Stunt Double. Sorry about that. Just like so. I know, this is such a nice color. I love a dusty rose, to be honest. This really does like remind me of like the desert. This whole palette. Okay, perfect. See? Okay, zap that for 60 seconds. And then I'm going to do one more coat actually before I wipe this off and close it all off. I'm going to do one more coat. And then we'll clean up all the mess we made. I'll do that off camera. I'm not going to drag you guys with me along with that. Thank you guys for tuning in. You know, it's been a long weekend. A long weekend. But we're here starting the work week again. I know a lot of you guys are off on Mondays, so it's cool. You know, if you guys tune in because, you know, we appreciate it because we know it's your off day and you guys want to relax. You probably are like, the last thing you want to think about is nails. But we know that sometimes people are more likely to tune in or be on social media on Monday versus Tuesday. But, you know, but now I feel like some people expect Tuesday. So they weren't prepared for Monday, but we're here on a Monday. All right. Just going to do a second coat on that. And Gabby did the swatches on the new palette last week. I was like excited for that. I love the new colors. I was like dying to see them all swatched. Okay. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to wipe it off. And then we will do the French line. I would like a longer, let me see if I have a longer liner brush. I think I will use, oh no, these ones are all from the palettes. I think I'll use this one because we have a art brush kit as well. So we do have other brushes if you guys, you know, want some brushes that are a little shorter or longer than like the liner brush that comes in the palette. This one is a little longer, so I feel like it's better for doing a French line. And I'll show you guys how I do a French. It may be like I just eyeball it, so it may not be for beginners because I don't do the whole like dot 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 line, you know. I just kind of like wing it. So sorry if you're like, how do you do that? I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of, and I'll show you. I just kind of look at where, like, I want the smile line. I mean, you can do the dot method, right? So, like, if you say, okay, I know I want the, you know, the lowest point to be right here, you can start from up here and then connect, right? See, this is why I don't do it. I just do it by eyeball because then I feel like I have to match it. Oh, there it is. I'm doing it. See, it's easy. Even I can do it. Because I'm like, I don't even do it that way. But yeah, if you put the little dot there, it's like, boom, you already know where it is. See? Easy. And then I know I'm saying that, and then somebody out there is going to be like, that was not easy.
Me.
I know. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But the more you do it, the easier it will be. I'll tell you that. It's like once you start kind of doing the same thing over and over again, you're just like, okay, I can do this with my eyes closed. We'll have to have a challenge like that one day. Blindfolded, doing little nail arts. and seeing who can line it up. Line up their Frenches. See, just like that. Bada bang, bada bow. Okay. And put that in for 60. And then what were the other designs? Okay, so it's just like another little line. The double French is so the client loves being like, oh, I just want this, and it's like three. Like I had a client that just came in and she wanted like 3 different French. Well, like it's a French, but it had like the double lines, but they were different things filled in. And I was like, sure. No, I love her. She always gets some good designs, but it's like, oh, the line work. It's hard. I hold my breath every time. I'm like, sheesh. Oh, that was a lot.
Here's a question. They're asking if we sell gel liners.
Gel liners, we do. We have a nail art kit, a brush kit, and it has a bunch of different liner brushes, and it has like brushes to do one stroke nail art, so the angled brushes, the round tip, flat, and then some liner brushes. This is one of the brushes from the kit. It's the Artfinity nail art brush. I don't know, where's Marco? Oh, he went to go get the kit. Okay, so when he comes back with the kit, I'll show it to you guys. And then this one is, I think, like cut to be a little skinnier, but yeah, I always kind of mess with my brushes too. Like sometimes I'll pinch them to make them a little flatter, or cut them to make them skinnier. But that's one of the brushes that comes in there. But that's all I do. I don't think he can find it. But that's okay. Is that on the front? In the front by the door? I think it's like on the end, one of the end caps. Well, anyway, it comes in a cylinder, and it's a bunch of different brushes in there that you can use with gel to do any type of nail art. So one stroke art, liner brushes, all that good jazz. It's all in there, I promise.
So I didn't like the way I did this one. On this hand, I had it opposite of this.
Oh,
so from the cuticle.
And then dot. Oh, okay. Well, we can
You
do
get what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah, we can.
Because I'm
that.
gonna take this one off. I hate it.
Oh, okay. She said we're gonna take it off. I'm not mad.
I was trying to be creative, and then I kept looking at
No,
it.
I liked it. I thought it looked
stitches.
tribal.
No.
I thought it looked tribal because, okay, look at this one. Because, it's a Joshua tree, so it kind of just like, I don't know. I thought it looked like tribal to me. But
so I ended up doing the line from the bottom.
She's like, let me just do it.
The opposite of the ring finger.
That's funny. Okay, we'll double back on that one. And the reason why I went backwards on this is because I want the edge of it to be skinnier. So I start from here, and then I'll have the brush a little like flatter. Like I'll put more pressure to it, and then I towards the tails of the French, I like let it go. So that way it can be skinnier. If you guys notice that. Like, oh, why'd she, do it different than she did the whole French? And it's just so that way I can give that illusion, because the design is like going from skinny to a little thicker over here. It drops down a little lower.
It literally took me like 10 tries.
Really?
Of wiping it off. Look, I was doing it with my left hand.
Well, yeah, it's hard to do with your left hand. If you do your own nails, if you're right-handed or, whatever your dominant hand is, you're never going to get the other hand to look the same. I used to just have one hand with a ton of nail art. My left hand would be decked out, and my right hand would just be glitter polish. Yeah. Like, that's it. Because I ain't even going to try. Okay, now, with this one, it was the line with the dots.
Yeah.
Okay. With this color?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to go from the top. And then Just like that. And then now we're going to add all the dots. Okay. So first, the dots over here. Boom. And then on this side, we're going to go back in with the Beverly Hills Bride and do the dots in the lighter color, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a cute design. I like it. It's like, you know, like chic, like you could wear this in the office. If you're an office girly, they won't give you a lot of trouble for this type of design. Because, you know, sometimes your bosses be haters because you got a cute nail design and they'll be like, you can't have all that. And it's like, no, you can't have all that. Cute. Okay, now we'll go in 60 seconds and then top coat and we're done. Oh yeah, you should. We have a lot of like these kits. It's kind of easy to learn to do your own if you're not close to like a Good Nail Tech or Cooper products. You can always order online. We'll ship it to you, and then you can learn all of this stuff on your own. You can use the shaper buffer too if you're not comfortable with the e-file. You can use the shaper buffer to file and prep your nail. This rounded edge is perfect for pushing back and just kind of cleaning up the cuticle area. And then you can buff and all that stuff and, you know, put the nail tips on. The same process that I showed you here and do it just by yourself, you know. So for all the girls who are not close to, you know, the city, or you don't have a lot of options for nail techs where you're at, because there are some people in rural areas or, you know, who like our product and they do their own nails, and a lot of them are licensed cosmetologists too. They do hair, like Val does hair, so you know, she's licensed to do cosmetology, but she's not a nail tech. So this stuff she, you know, can do on her own too.
I'm learning from you girls.
Yeah, see? She comes every week. She's like, yeah, I'm learning.
Except for you guys make it look so easy. It takes me like 5 hours to do one finger.
She's like, why is it taking me 5 hours? It takes us an hour normally. How come it's taking me 5? Oh my, that's how I am with hair. That's how I'm not a hair girl. You guys see me, my hair is down or in a bun. That's the most you're gonna get out of me. The girls who can do hair, I commend you. I applaud you. I'm the same way. And then I'm just using my, gloss top coat. You guys know about this already. Everybody loves the gel top coat. All right. And bam. Putting that in for 60 seconds and we're done. So when she comes out, I'm just going to put cuticle oil. Sorry, we ran over the time. I was trying to do, and I said I wasn't going to care if we did the nail art on camera or any of that, but here we are. Thank you for staying locked in, those of us who are locked in. All right. Okay, I'm just going to try to clean up while we are letting that zap. And oops. Was this the one we were just using? Or was it this? Well, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know how they want to store that. But I guess it's just us. We're the main ones using this stuff. All right, there we go. We are in time for the cuticle oil, and then I will let you guys go. And this is just what I like to do too. So for pictures, when I take my pictures, I don't let the client rub the cuticle oil onto their nail bed, like onto the nails, because it causes streaks and it makes it look like the top coat is not clear, like it's not as nice, you know? So I brush it back for them up to the knuckle if I can. So that way when we take the picture, the nail is already ready to go. The top coat is not disturbed by the oil, because this is how it looks if you're taking your picture, right? You see how smooth and glossy the top coat is? Now, imagine your client's like, oh, I love it. And then they put the cuticle oil on it. Now, and I don't know if you can catch it, it doesn't look as glossy as this one, right? Like there's some interference. You can see there's like some interference versus this one. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but in person you can pick it up. You can see the smudges, the fingerprints. You can see them on the one with the oil versus this one still looks shiny. So if your client does rub their cuticle oil in before you can take your picture, just get a lint-free wipe with some alcohol and just rub the oil off. That way you can get that high shine back. You see? Much better. But when they rub the oil on there, it's going to show the fingerprints and the dust and all that, or whatever you have going on. So you want to make sure the nails are clean. All right, there you go. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry for going over the time a little bit, but I appreciate you. Make sure you guys tune in next week, and we will have other fun designs or useful, knowledgeable information for you guys, and showing you how to use our product. So again, thank you and have a good night. Bye.